Very good evening, dear friends. In this today's session, we will deal with the definition and meaning of investment, then followed by, of course, securities later on. In this episode, I will deal with investment as it is viewed as a generic term to mean employment of money to get a return. But I will take a more scientific view, which will help you in the examination point of view, knowledge-wise also. So I tell you, first place, Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary defines investment is to buy property, shares of course, in a company, etc., in the hope of making a profit. And then, according to Concise Law Dictionary of Sri Ramnath Iyer, investment denotes to employ for some profitable use, convert into some other form of wealth, usually of a more or less permanent nature, in connection with money or capital, to give money for some other property, to employ money in the purchase of anything from which interest or profit is expected. What does it mean, dear friends? The investment denotes the employment of money for a gain. Investments denote the different options of employing money in different alternatives, which include the securities also. In India, the subject of investment is covered under different laws, like I told you: Securities Contract Regulation Act, the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, and the various RBI regulations, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002, the SEBI, as I told you, the depository, the SECRA, and other related legislations. So, with this background, we go to the securities. Investment means it could be in property or security. Security is also a property. But I will give you a more wider meaning of this particular term, securities. As I told you, security has got a very wider term. So, the security basically has a special meaning under different economic and corporate legislations, as against the general meaning of safety, assurance, guarantee for the payment of a debt or the performance of an act or promise. Then, friends, we will take up the definition as given in the Concise Oxford Dictionary, Law Dictionary of Sri Ramnath Iyer, where securities definition is stated to be any of the following instruments issued or to be issued, or created or to be created by or for the benefit of a company, namely shares, stocks and bonds, debentures, mortgage deeds, instruments of pawn, pledge or hypothecation and other instruments, creating or evidencing a charge or lien on the assets of a company, and instruments acknowledging loan to or indebtedness of company, and guaranteed by a third party or entered into jointly with third party. So this definition was in fact earlier quoted from the Repealed Capital Issues Control Act 1947, which was quoted by the Ramnath Iyer also. Then Article 366(26) of the Constitution of India, securities in fact include stock. Then Section 2(1) of the Forward Contract Regulation Act 1952. It is Section 2L of the Forward Contract Regulation Act 1952. Securities means any of the following instruments issued or to be issued, are created or to be created by or for the benefit of a company, namely shares, scrips, stocks, bonds, debentures, debenture stocks, or other marketable securities of like nature, in or of any incorporated company or other body corporate, and also government securities. Then Section 2H of the Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956 says that securities includes shares, scrips, stocks, bonds, debentures, debenture stock, or other marketable securities of like nature in or any incorporated company or other body corporate. derivatives, units, or other instruments issued by any collective investment scheme to the investors to such schemes, government securities, such other instruments as may be declared by the central government to be securities and rights or interest in securities, which shows that securities means here to be taken as instruments of investments. You can put it in a different way. Then as per clause ZA to section 2 of the Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, securities here means shares, stocks, bonds and debentures, repetition of same. Government securities as defined in the Public Debt Act 1944, saving certificates to which the Saving Certificates Act 1959 applies, deposit receipts in respect of deposits of securities, and units of the Unit Trust of India established under subsection 1 of section 3 of the Unit Trust of India Act 1963, or of any mutual fund, and includes certificates of title to securities, but does not include bills of exchange or promissory notes other than government promissory notes or any other instruments which may be notified by the Reserve Bank of India as security for the purpose of this Act. So the word securities in the context of investment denotes the employment of money in shares and debentures, bonds of companies, and also the government sponsored investment schemes which are in the form of instruments. An investment in non-securities like fixed deposits in banks, recurring deposits are not covered by the legislations like Securities Contract Regulation Act and other related legislations like the Securities and Exchange Board of India Act, the Depositories Act. So, investments in fixed deposits in bank, recurring deposits are not securities. The investment in non-securities is covered by the RBI regulation and other banking and non-banking laws and regulations. So, the post office schemes also are not securities. Basically, securities are saleable or transferable. For investments, several options are available like various kinds of deposits in bank, non-banking financial institutions, corporates, the firms, and also investment in securities. The securities must be offered to public by companies only. And of course, the government also can offer securities to the public in different forms. Much emphasis is given on the regulation of securities. In India, to protect the interest of investors, investors' protection is supreme and primary most. Regulations are issued to streamline the working of intermediaries like stockbrokers in the securities market by the government. So it is also necessary to understand the concept of shares and debentures, which are integral part of the securities. So for this purpose, we have to understand the concept of corporate entity as it is the roots based on which the entire stock market depends upon. So friends, with this background, I have covered you the meaning of investment in securities. Then I will take you through the financial market of history, the evolution, development, and modus of investment and securities in India. Then I will take you to the SEBI, SECRA, and other legislations thereon. With that background, you will understand the subject better, you will appreciate it better, you will write out well in your examinations. So this is introductory history I had to give you before we straight attack the subject matter of investments and securities. So corporate and securities laws, this is the background with which we had to proceed off. This is the core subject, so necessarily this background is necessary. So thank you, dear friends, and we'll meet again soon. Good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.